Since I stopped using my iPhone and social media, I've noticed that I've stopped thinking about a lot of nonsense. Of course, I still use a computer every day and I'm still on the internet every day. But some parts of the internet are extremely toxic, and in my opinion, the entire point is to make people mad at each other for no reason. Unfortunately, a lot of social media apps, their algorithms are designed just to make people angry, stressed out, and miserable for no reason. When I used to use Twitter and Snapchat on my iPhone, I definitely was getting outraged about pointless nonsense every single day. And now that the brain fog has cleared, in hindsight, it really bothers me that I wasted all of this time on stuff that doesn't matter at all. But of all of the pointless nonsense I thought about, there is one part that is significantly worse than the rest. The worst part of the internet is all of the garbage content where the only goal is to make young men and young women hate each other. The way Twitter is just a giant gender war all day, every day, is absolutely disgusting, and people need to stop partaking in it. So, first, I want to remind everybody, as I know from experience, this is just a corner of the internet. Since I stopped using my iPhone and Twitter and Snapchat, I'm not thinking about any of this anymore. I still use the internet every day, but my mental health is way better because I'm not in these garbage corners of the internet. And you know what's crazy? Is on websites like Twitter, it's really not even a corner. It's really just the homepage. Like if you go on the For You page for Twitter, it's just awful. When I used Twitter in 2023 and 2024, way too much of it was just garbage gender rage bait. And based on some of the things I hear my friends say and some of the stuff I see on TV and some of the slop videos people send me in texts, it's clear that none of this has gone away. If anything, it seems to be getting worse. And now that I'm over a year removed from consuming any of this slop, I can easily explain the specific formula for the garbage they are promoting and ultimately the horrible impact it's having on young people. So first, let's start with how the internet absolutely tears down all young men. On some parts of the internet, men cannot win no matter what they do. Any young man who is confident, charismatic, and has goals, they get completely emasculated by the internet. When a young man becomes successful, they basically have two options. Either they behave like a dog with a tail between its legs, and everyone says, "Oh wow, aren't you just the nicest person ever?" Or they choose to not fit in a box and they get ruthlessly slandered just for existing. The internet is being used as a tool to emasculate accomplished, confident, and charismatic young men. Think about all of the absolute garbage that has been said about pro athletes under the age of 25. Wow, that 23-year-old NBA player playing in the conference finals missed a shot. Wow, what a bum. They're such a loser. They're never going to do anything. What? Whether it's athletes or other successful young men, they get targeted by the internet because they're accomplished, confident, and charismatic. And of course, the entire goal of this internet hate is to make them lose their confidence, to make them lose their charisma, to make them feel like their accomplishments are worthless. And of course, anytime a famous young man makes a mistake, the internet is there to completely destroy them for it. The internet wants successful young men to believe that they're never going to rebound from their one mistake in a life full of success. And then, on top of tearing down successful young men, the internet then promotes the idea that actually most young men are total losers. When someone goes on the internet and they see a quote unquote discussion about young men and their behavior nowadays, it's all overwhelmingly negative. The internet wants everybody to think that all young men are antisocial, have no goals, don't care, and are just completely checked out of life. So there's two problems with that line of thinking. First of all, of course, not every young man is checked out and doesn't care. And second of all, yes, there are some guys who are checked out, antisocial, have no interest in getting a girlfriend. But throughout all of human history, there has always been a small percentage of men who are checked out. The internet wants everyone to believe that the 1% of checked out young men are actually the majority. The only thing happening here is that some people want everyone to believe that the 1% is actually everybody. It's disrespectful to young men who care and who are trying hard to say that all young men are checked out slobs who can't make a friend. But unfortunately, because of the internet, some people actually believe that all young men are lazy slobs and that men who do accomplish stuff should only get torn down for it. Ultimately, there are two goals of this garbage discourse. The first one is to make young men lose confidence. Unfortunately, there are some terrible people out there who want young men to log onto the internet and just see young men getting torn down just for trying their best. The entire goal of this is to make young men give up before they even start trying. And the other goal is to make young women hate young men. The internet wants young women to believe that young men are lazy, inept, evil losers, and it's messed up. And the internet discourse about young women is just as bad, if not worse. Any young woman who is confident and charismatic and has goals, they get ruthlessly destroyed by the internet. When a young woman becomes successful, they have two options. Either they behave like a dog with its tail between its legs, and everyone says, "Oh wow, aren't you just the nicest person ever?" Or they choose to not fit into a box and they get ruthlessly slandered just for existing. The internet is being used as a tool to destroy accomplished, confident, and charismatic young women. Think about all of the absolute garbage that has been said about young actresses and singers. Wow, that 23-year-old wore an outfit that I personally don't like. Let me use every disgusting label in the book. Like what? Whether it's an actress or any other young woman, they get attacked by the internet because they are successful, charismatic, and confident. And of course, the entire goal of this internet hate is to make them lose their confidence, to make them lose their charisma, to make them feel like their accomplishments mean nothing. And of course, anytime a young woman screws up, the internet is there to act like it is a life-defining moment. The internet wants young women to believe that no matter how successful they are, one mistake will define them. And then, on top of tearing down successful young women, the internet wants everybody to believe that all young women are total losers. The internet wants everyone to believe that all young women are antisocial, don't have goals, and are just focused on nonsense. When somebody goes on the internet and they see a discussion, a quote-unquote discussion, about young women and their behavior nowadays, it's all overwhelmingly negative. The internet wants everyone to think that all young women are antisocial, have no goals, don't care, and are obsessed with nonsense. There are two problems with that line of thinking. First of all, not every young woman is checked out and they don't care. And second of all, of course there are young women who are checked out or their goals aren't really goals, they're just kind of superficial. But that's always been a thing. The internet wants everyone to believe that the 1% of young women who are checked out are actually the majority. It's disrespectful to young women to say that they're all checked out, don't care, and that all of their goals are superficial. But ultimately, there are two goals of this internet discourse. The first is to make young women lose confidence. Successful young women get torn down. Meanwhile, women who make terrible decisions, like making OnlyFans accounts, get promoted. The entire goal of this is to make young women give up before they even start trying. And the second goal is to make young men hate young women. The internet wants young men to believe all of this propaganda, brain rot slop. So, anyone who has made it this far in the video obviously understands my point, which is it's all the same. There's no difference. All of this, no matter what specifically is being said, the goal is the same: to make young people lose their confidence and to hate the other gender. That is it. And the worst part of all of this garbage discourse is that we will never understand how much we paid for consuming this propaganda all day. Friends, relationships, family members, a whole lot of people who could have had a whole lot of memorable relationships didn't have those memorable relationships because of this garbage propaganda. Young people at college, there are people who could have formed massive social groups, and I mean massive, 50 plus people, but instead none of them ever hung out because they were all in their head about all this gender garbage. And of course, that completely destroys everyone's overall happiness and their general trust in other human beings. We will never be able to truly put into words how much this garbage gender discourse has completely destroyed all of our society, and especially young people relationships. And there's one thing I don't understand, and it's about my age group specifically. I'm 28 years old, so anyone in my general age group, what I don't get is that we were on the internet before all of this garbage was present. So we should know better. But for some reason, everyone my age continues to consume all of this garbage. And now that I don't use my phone or social media anymore, I can really see how this garbage is totally brainwashing people, and it's messed up. Way too often, I will unprompted hear somebody say something overwhelmingly negative about the other gender. And nowadays, every time I just think to myself, oh yikes, this person is on their phone way too much. I truly believe the cure to all of this rage bait is people not using social media anymore. Maybe that will happen, maybe that won't, but it's definitely out of my control. That's for sure. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. This has been Weedified. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and comment. I will see you all next video.